his 8th WBO championship fight tonight. Getting a great reception from his home fans. Tail of the tape, looking like this tonight. Harrison younger by 7 years. Polo's taller though, and has a reach advantage if he can use it. Both of them just inside the 9-stone featherweight limit. Harrison's debut in 1996. Polo on the go for the last 15 years now, including 43 fights, 260 rounds. Harrison likely to have an advantage in terms of strength because he is a big featherweight.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to commence this evening and get the emotions charged, would you please welcome from the Braehead Symphony Orchestra, the wonderful vocal talent, giving his personal rendition of the Flower of Scotland, Mr. Davy Haggerty.
Come on, Braehead, let's hear you for Scott Harrison. Oh, flower of Scotland, when will we see you like again? The fought and died for your leave at hill and glen and stood against them. For Edward's army and sent him homewards to think again. Those days are past now, and in the past we must remain, for we will arise now and be a nation again and stir against him. For Edward's army and sent him homewards to think again. Good luck, Scott!
Ladies and gentlemen, who else but Davy Haggerty? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Braehead Arena here in the city of Glasgow, Scotland. Tonight, Frank Warren's Sports Network on the internet with www.frankwarren.tv and 3 proudly present 12 3-minute rounds of boxing for the WBO Featherweight Championship of the world. Welcome to you, the viewers, watching live and exclusively on Sky Sports Friday Fight Night. The officials have been appointed by the WBO and the British Boxing Board of Control. World Boxing Organization Supervisor at ringside, Arthur Ellenson. British Boxing Board of Control Steward in charge, Bernard Connolly. Timekeeper at the bell is Mr. Ricky Gilmore. The 3 scoring judges at ringside this evening are John Coyle from England, Melvina Lathan from the United States of America, and Manuel Oliva from Spain. Finally, when the action commences, the referee taking charge of his 38th world title contest from New York City in the USA, Samuel Featherweight. And so, people of Glasgow, Scotland, live from the Braehead Arena, this is World Championship Boxing! Introducing to you firstly the challenger. Boxing out of the red corner, wearing the red coloured shorts trimmed with white. At the weigh-in yesterday, he scaled 8 stones, 13 pounds and 12 ounces. He has an excellent ring record consisting of 43 contests, 37 wins, 26 of those wins coming by way of knockout, only 4 defeats and 2 draws. He's rated #1 in the world by the WBO, presenting from Cartagena in Colombia, Victor Polo. And opposing him, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the solid black shorts trimmed with gold. At the weigh-in yesterday, he scaled 8 stones, 13 pounds and 14 ounces. He also has an excellent record consisting of 26 contests, 23 wins, 13 of those wins coming by way of knockout, only 2 defeats and 1 draw. Presenting the 2-time WBO Featherweight Champion of the World from Cambuslang in Scotland, presenting Scott the Real Harrison. Referee Mr. Featherweight with his final instructions, 12 rounds.
Any questions from Scott Harrison's side? ¿Alguna pregunta de este lado? No. Tócalo. Buena suerte.
This is the 9th time in a row that Scott Harrison has fought in this Braehead arena, not far from Glasgow Airport. His World Championship record is 6 wins, just the 1 defeat against Manuel Medina in 2003, when he claimed to have flu in the build-up to the fight. Black trunks, a very eager Scott Harrison, the red and white of Victor Polo, making his 4th attempt to become a world champion here. The 34-year-old from Colombia, tall southpaw. He's met a lot of southpaws in recent defences. Good atmosphere in this arena, pumped up by that emotional rendition of Flower of Scotland, which Jim Watt knows so well.
Yeah, it brings happy memories back. Well, Scott looks to be bursting at the seams at the sound of the first bell there. He knows he wants to get this fellow onto his back foot. Can't take too many chances. He's a cute southpaw. So maybe take him a round or so to find the range.
Good right hand from Harrison, got through there. How good are Polo's legs at the age of 34? That might be a key question. He'll want to keep it on the outside, use the height and reach. Box, Scott Harrison coming at him in straight lines. This fight has already lasted longer than the last Scott Harrison defence against Samuel Kebede, all 59 seconds of that against the rather hapless challenger. Again, Harrison gets through with a good-looking right.
He's taking a couple of long lefts from Polo, but he's quite happy because he's getting his own punches on. But Polo looking lively, not looking at this moment like he's 34 years, 34 fairly hard years too.
But he's done well in world title fights with good name opponents like Medina, Derek Gaynor and Chacon. And there's a cut now, a cut for Harrison by the left eye straight away. He's got Mick Williamson, one of the best in the business, in the corner, but that wasn't in his script.
And there hasn't been any clashes of heads, Ian, so punches must have caused. If there's been a clash of heads, I didn't see it.
Polo's raking southpaw jab probably did the damage. Good left hand, gets through from Harrison again. It's an excellent first round with a bit of drama mixed in. We're convinced that a punch has caused the damage, not a head clash.
Well, a good positive start from Harrison, just a pity the facial damage, but good corner man in his corner, as you just mentioned, so hopefully he'll get this under control and Harrison can forget about it.
He's pretty busy, Polo, and whips in the left hand as well. And all the signs are that after 4 stoppage wins in his last 4 world title fights, this might be a harder job early on anyway.
Harrison just lost his way a little bit since the cut. I think some doubts. I think he's waiting for the bell to get back. I think he lost his concentration in the last half minute or so. But I still think he did enough to win the round.
Scott, get a spring going your feet a wee bit. Right, okay.
That's Mick Williamson on the cuts.
Why don't you move new there on, get the bounce going your leg, okay?
Replacing the late but lamented Denny Mancini.
It's all right. It's all right. Excuse me.
How bad is that?
No problem.
It looked a fairly bad cut. And you certainly don't get good cuts in the opening round of a fight. We're not getting a good look at it yet. We'll see it probably just when he goes to put the grease on.
Have a look
So
at this,
some
Jim.
long
This is the
raking
punch.
punches. Well, I don't know about that, if we caught it quite there. Yep, that could possibly have been the one to do it, but I didn't notice any clashes of heads. So if this injury should stop the fight, then Harris is in trouble.
Keep still, keep still. Yeah, boots on your feet.
Round 2, black trunks, remember, of Scott Harrison in his second reign. The only Scottish fighter ever to hold a genuine world championship twice. And indeed, the country's only world featherweight champion. Good atmosphere in the arena as well. An early drama. Polo busy with his right lead, determined to take his chance at the 4th time of asking. Again, a good left hand from the marauding Harrison, but he walked onto a good left hook back from Polo, who's not a negligible puncher either.
I think one problem for Harrison is the fact that Polo is so effective on the back foot. But this is what he has to do, take the play away, take the initiative.
There are early signs here that this might be a thriller.
Well, that one sounded good, but Polo caught that in his gloves. But Harrison has to do that, has to make the older man work at his pace.
Polo's had a good amount of time to prepare for this fight, though. He hasn't come in at late notice. He is the #1 contender, caught by a right hand from Harrison there. His head movement isn't the greatest, but he's busy enough himself to keep Harrison off balance at times with his jab.
I don't know that Harrison wants to be throwing single punches. This fellow's cute, is experienced, and Harrison is so good at putting punches together. I think he wants to do that, march in behind the punches, 3 and 4 at a time.
I think Polo's had a good look at the tactics Manuel Medina used when he beat Scott Harrison. Plenty of lateral movement.
Yeah, but just if you can just cause Harrison's punches to fall that little bit short, you can punish him, because he does leave his head unprotected. Good right hand from Harrison.
That knocked Polo back. Don't know if he was off balance a bit. Doesn't seem that shaken up. Then another one catches him. And he can wear you down, Harrison. He's an erosive kind of fighter.
Well, he's in the driving seat here, but he's not really bullying Polo. Polo's coping with what he's doing well. He's taken a couple of good shots, not been too troubled by them. Nevertheless, good tactics at the moment from Harrison.
Fascinatingly set up here. There's height and reach disadvantages. Little right hand and brought a smile from Polo that time.
Harrison not finding it easy to get the range. That's better if he lets the punches go in bunches, much more success. Single punches are definitely not the order of the night here.
On the cut left eye of Scott Harrison from London cab driver Mick Williamson.
Keep still, keep still.
Keep moving to your left. Okay, keep moving to your left.
The 1 minute wonder. Now round 3. Polo looks useful, Jim.
He does, yeah, and I said earlier, the fact that he's so good on the retreat is giving Harrison some problems. He's been told to move to his own left to get outside of the southpaw jab, but this guy's so experienced, he'll be expecting that, and I'm sure he'll know how to cope with it. But I repeat, Harrison must, this is what he has to do, let the punches flow. And you give this fellow time to think, he'll play with your mind. Maybe just roughhouse tactics from Harrison there. Didn't think worthy of a ticking off.
Always so intense, so determined, so grimly eager, Scott Harrison. Lately he's overwhelmed a couple of his opponents, one of whom was William Abelyan. He did that in 3 rounds. Abelyan was #1 contender, and by the way, Polo knocked him out in 1.
The jab giving Harrison problems here at the beginning of the 3rd.
Right hand, good shot, Scott Harrison.
That's the kind of shot where it would be perfect if he had finished on the left hook.
Good stuff again from Polo there.
Yep, Polo producing some good work in this round. Harrison again just struggling to get close without taking that jab.
I'll punch holes in Harrison was the Polo attributed quote in the Scottish newspapers this week.
The jab again giving him problems. He's a little bit predictable at the moment, Scott. He wants to show a little feint, he wants to threaten, he wants to change the pace a little bit. He's trying to nudge forward just a little bit too predictable. Just raise the pace a little bit. Take this fight with a scruff of the neck again. But Polo being allowed to box at his own pace here and producing some half-decent work.
Harrison's got to be careful he doesn't get picked up on the way in as he looks to close the range. It's good boxing this from Polo. He's finding some nice angles for his shots. Just starting to think about it, and when he loses intensity sometimes, Harrison doesn't look so good.
The single punches are not working for Harrison when he lets them flow and puts this guy under pressure. But we do have to remember that Scott has to work hard to make the featherweight limit. So can he fight at 12 rounds full out? I don't know.
I think he's making it better since he's had a dietitian, nutritionist on board.
Well, he's improving towards the end of the round, but for me, I think the cuter stuff has come from Polo in this round.
I agree.
Scott just being caught at arm's length, and that's the last place he wants to be. As soon as he moves into punching range, he must be punching.
Troubled by the cut, Harrison.
Show me what this guy is well.
Scott Harrison having his work cut out early on here.
Yeah, he's been told in the corner he's been giving this fellow too much room to work, and that's exactly true. You can't allow this fellow to box at his own pace. He's too cute, he's too experienced. The younger man wants to set the pace.
Fourth round. Remember the other Colombian who was here recently, Walter Estrada, gave Harrison real problems for 3 rounds, but then dissolved and was stopped in the 5th. I think Polo might be made of slightly sterner stuff than that. We'll see. Certainly got a better pedigree than Estrada brought. Polo, who fought at the York Hall in Bethnal Green, has to take 2 or 3 there from Harrison, and another one. Looked a bit disorientated, the Colombian, a little bit from that moment. He looks at his corner, shakes his head as if to say, no, I'm okay.
This is what Harrison has to do. Use what he's good at. His strength, his fitness and his youth. Let the punches flow. Forget the single shots.
Looks at his best, Harrison, when he's brawling his way inside, hammering away with hooks and right hands. Polo trying to boss it on the outside, using his right lead. Harrison not letting him do that, closing the range well.
That was good defensive work from Polo there. Clipped a nice little left hand through. Then the evasive boxing was nice. Difficult to pin down this fellow.
It's a fast-paced featherweight championship fight here at the Braehead Arena in Glasgow. Another cracking right hand from Harrison there, but Polo whips back his own shots in classy fashion too. Good fight, Jim, so far.
Yeah, he's been called for a low blow. I didn't think that was all that low. Actually, I thought it was partly blocked on the elbow, which may have deflected it. But he doesn't want any points deducted, that's for sure. I think he should be working to the body.
That's the second caution he's had about that as well, Harrison. No point deduction yet. Good left hand from Harrison, who has this real belief about him. He seems to be most articulate when he gets in the ring. Never has too much to say outside of it, it seems. Not one for making brash predictions or reciting poetry or arriving on motorbikes with his ring entrance or threatening to eat anybody's children. This man is a throwback type. Again, the right hand catches Polo, who sports backwards. Just feeling Harrison's strength a bit here.
It's not easy, but the fight is going the way Harrison wants it to go. He's the man in the driving seat, he's having to work hard, but he's coming up with the goods.
He's driving it back now, Jim. He's driving it back, and he's starting to look a bit disorganised. Polo, can he keep up this pace? Big round now, big-ish anyway.
Keep him close, keep him on the ropes. See, when he's on the ropes, that's when you're at your best.
Well, that was without a doubt the best round of the fight so far for Harrison. So if he has dented this man's confidence at long last, then he wants to underline that. He wants to come out the next round and pick up. But you see the difference when he lets the punches flow.
He's starting to go, was what trainer Peter Harrison said to Scott between the rounds. Now, is that right? Polo did look as if he was finding it a bit hard in that last session. Here's round 5. The super fit Scott Harrison, who's done a lot of his training in the Sierra Nevada mountains in southern Spain. Better than the icy slopes of Ben Nevis this time of year.
Well, Harrison is still nice and controlled. He's still moving to his own left. And this is where he really takes over. That's the plan. If he can edge him back to the ropes and then let the punches flow. The guy's a little bit cute out in the centre of the ring. So push him back, then mount the attack.
There's another right hand, and again Polo caught off balance. He's trying to outbox Harrison, but not able to really sustain that for any length of time. Harrison's landing plenty. He's finding Polo reasonably easy to hit.
Yeah, and I think Harrison is warming to the task now. The punches that were maybe stopping him in his tracks in the first couple of rounds, he's walking through those and landing better ones. Don't want to take too many though.
Polo's only ever been stopped once in his whole career, and that was 13 years ago by future world title contender Moises Pedrosa. Big right hand, and that's stiffened Polo. Big right hand. He's in trouble here, the Colombian. Grabs on for dear life. Tries to buy some time to recover.
Well, that punch was right on the spot, Ian.
And that's another one. He might have him here, you know. Polo in a lot of trouble in that corner, and Harrison is all over him, marauding away. He's on stiff legs, I think, Polo now.
Yep, we still have almost a minute left.
Another one, another right hand, he's too open to them. Harrison must feel now he's on the verge.
He's taken the punches well, Ian. His eyes never left Scott Harrison when he took that right hand. So nothing wrong with his chin, and he's coming back. We have to ask, is this round taking more out of Polo than Harrison? We hope so. Harrison has put out a lot of work in this round.
As if he hasn't punched himself out for his sake. Polo showing signs of recovery, but these punches are definitely having an effect on the Richter scale. Oh, another right cross goes thudding in. Harrison is in control now. In fact, he's got a stranglehold. Another big round is Scott Harrison. I thought he was going to finish it in that section.
Yeah, well, at no time did Polo's eyes lose their clarity. They were looking straight back at Scott, so there's nothing wrong with his chin. A couple of those right hands landed right on the button, but he took them so well, but they must have taken something out of him. You can see, now that one was bang on the chin, but immediately he's looking straight back at Harrison, not really even looking to clinch. You can see him looking straight back. Now that was a beauty. That would have floored quite a few world-class featherweights around at the moment. This guy is incredibly tough and able to come back with some shots, but that was a massive round for Scott Harrison. That will have done a lot for his confidence, but he did use up a lot of gas.
You've got him on a rope, start working.
And this fight going on in a great atmosphere in this arena. Promoter Frank Maloney will be happy about that. He was asked this week, is this the last fight for Scott Harrison in Scotland if the low crowds continue? He said no comment. That was probably the first time Frank had said no comment about anything since 1971, I should think.
Well, Polo is the one who must come up with something else. Can he do that?
He's again caught by those right hands and Harrison hasn't really been able to miss with that tonight.
Polo realises he must start coming forward. He's been swamped with punches when he's on the back foot. Can't cope with the pace, can't compete with the pace, so he must try to come forward.
Good work again by Harrison, who you feel is growing in belief as a fighter. He might have his limitations. He might not be full of the sweet science, but my goodness me, he isn't half effective.
The referee's on Harrison's back a little bit. I mean, it's a rough fight. Punches are going to go slightly astray. There's nothing intentional.
Polo's had problems with low blows in the past. Good right to the body that time from Harrison.
Yeah, but Polo has pulled himself together a little bit. I'm not saying he's having a good round, but he's certainly a lot livelier now that he's got himself into the centre of the ring. Better work from Polo in this round. He realised he had to change what was going on, and he's trying to do that.
You just wonder, though, when the next crisis is coming for the Colombian. Harrison's hurt him a few times, cut eye or not, and he's had that cut eye, the champion, since the first round.
I think Harrison trying to work the body when he gets the chance. Definitely a good plan.
Harrison gunning for a big fight with Marco Antonio Barrera, big world star. Hopefully on May the 7th, he hopes. A lot of work to do in setting that up, but he's got to get this one out of the way first.
Taking more punches in this round, Harrison. I'm surprised. That's just a stumble. I'm surprised the way Polo has come back. I thought the fight was turning completely against him. But just some good work here.
And he's done it behind the jab as well, and he caught Harrison badly off balance. Watch the use of the head, says referee Sam Featherweight from New York to Polo.
Maybe Harrison, as I say, needing a little breather after the tough previous round. I mean, he put a lot of work out in that 5th round. Not showing quite the same snap here.
Good recovery,
That's better.
this. Good recovery, this. Good right again from Polo.
See, when Polo finds the room to work, he's giving Harrison problems. Harrison must stay right on top of him. Don't give him any room.
Tom and Marcia fell in love, had Lola in...
It's the WBC light welterweight title at stake. Next week on Friday Fight Night, Arturo Gatti and Jesse James Leija, Sky Sports 1, next Friday night at 10. The WBO featherweight crown at stake here in Glasgow tonight. Scott Harrison is controlling it, but not by much.
No, he's certainly not having it all his own way. And Polo had a good round in that last session, the 6th. Here's the 7th. Black trunks of Harrison, who just looked a bit punched out. Don't know if he was caught by a body shot in that last round that troubled him.
I don't know if it was the fact that he used up so much steam in the previous round when he went for the knockout. But surely, I mean, when the second win comes, we know he's in the best of shape.
Polo somehow looks re-energized at this point. He's come through a dark period in the fight. Starts to pick it up. Good shot there, caught Harrison as he came in.
See, Harrison's missing with a lot of punches, which is also so tiring. Polo's boxing is very organised at the moment. Cute again. He's the centre of the ring. He has the room to work, and that's what's giving Scott Harrison the problems. Scott not really at his best at long range.
This is a very decent fighter and one of Scott Harrison's toughest fights. The cut has got a bit worse, by the way, that Harrison picked up early in the fight. More blood coming from it just at the moment.
See, Harrison is having to force the work. It's not flowing, so it's using up a lot more energy. When things are working well, your confidence is up, your timing's good, but he's forcing everything. Not working at the moment. Been picked off at long range.
Good little spell this for Polo, just as he seemed to be unravelling a round or two ago. And that cut's bad, you know, Jim.
Again, the referee for me is just a little bit busy at times, but these are full-blooded shots, which we don't like. coming through Harrison's guard.
It's an edge of the seat occasion here, that's for certain.
That's better.
Slap with the left hand, really, I thought, that one by Harrison, but it's going to count anyway.
It's the fact that he's missing with so many punches, Harrison.
Just looking ragged at this stage, isn't he, Jim?
Can't get close. He can't, I mean, this fella is a real good, solid pro. More spring in the legs than we expected. And really boxing well in this round. Harrison lost his way.
And the cut's worse. I think it might be obscuring his vision a bit. There was a good left hook and right cross from Harrison. That might lift him a bit. Polo having to hold on for a moment. Might have been stung by one of those. Not Warwood.
There's that left hand straight through the guard. If you remember, that was the punch that Walter Estrada was catching Harrison with, which is unusual from the southpaw, countering with the straight left, but it's worked.
This is absolutely fascinating. Harrison coming on a bit stronger in the later stages of the round, a round that Polo had dominated to then, and I think the Colombian won it.
You must straight left all the time, because you're too far out. You're not pushing them back enough. Right? You're starting to end your left on. You get in there and you keep punching, you keep the work rate going. This guy's throwing a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. That's all he's doing. Right?
Check on the jabs so far. Look at that, Jim. 31-5 in Polo's favour in jabs.
I'm not surprised with that, Ian, because Harrison not at his best at long range. He likes to get close and get the body shots and the hooks working. That doesn't surprise me, but it's alarming the way he's being caught at arm's length. He cannot box this man at arm's length. He'll be outboxed all night long. Must get closer, must let the punches flow, but I think he is feeling the pace.
You wouldn't want to call this fight from here. This is...
Well, I have 1 point in it at the moment, and the alarming thing is the fact that I've given Polo the last 2 rounds at a time when I thought Harrison was about to take over.
I've scored 1 round different to you. I've got Polo a point ahead. Here's the 8th. Polo's in the red trunks. The Colombian looking to get lucky at the 4th time of asking. Jersey Joe Walcott did it in the heavyweight division at the 5th time. Frank Bruno did it in the heavyweight division at the 4th time of asking. Right, uppercut that time, and at the moment just fighting a little bit disorientated and frustrated. Harrison, and Polo is keeping his boxing together at range.
Yep, again, Harrison, all he's doing is trying harder. He's not coming up with anything different. He's trying to force himself back into this fight, but things are not working. Everything is forced. Nothing is coming naturally for him. This is turning into a toughness, but there's that left hand again.
Give tremendous credit to the Colombian for coming through the crisis in the way he has. But might Harrison come back strong again? Don't rule that out again. Listen to the crowd now. Flower of Scotland. They're trying to lift Scott Harrison. They sense that these are awkward moments in the fight for him.
Still being caught at long range. I really think Harrison is feeling the pace. He's not comfortable with this. That little extra strength we expect to see, he's really looking for that now. This is better.
Made to miss though. Will Polo at 34 be able to keep up this tempo for 12 rounds? It's been an intense battle, this. And a very, very good one too, after the debacle we had here in Scott Harrison's last world title fight when the fans were booing. Tonight, after this, they'll be coming back for more, as long as Harrison can hold on to his title, of course.
One of the problems, he hasn't managed to knock this fellow out of his stride. Polo is still boxing with the same composure he was showing in the first couple of rounds. Better round for Harrison, a bit more intensity been shown, making Polo work a bit harder. It's untidy, it's a little bit crude, but it's an improvement nevertheless.
The more accurate work's coming from the Colombian, isn't it? It's a lowish blow on the inside from Harrison that time.
But this is another big drive from Harrison. Can he produce 2 of these rounds consecutively or not? Topped at long range again.
needs another breakthrough punch. He needs to get Polo going again, because there's a ring of confidence developing around the challenger in this phase of the fight anyway.
Well, he's gasping for breath a little bit there, Polo. That was a tough round for both guys.
Let's hear what Scott Harrison's manager, Frank Maloney's making of it. He's with Ed Robinson.
Well, Frank, is Scott in trouble?
Well, it's a hard fight. I mean, at the moment, this fight could go any way. Scott doesn't seem to be able to get his boxing going. He's trying to force the fight. He's not working his jab enough, and he's giving Polo too much room to work in.
So what advice are you shouting to him?
I'm trying to get him to get in closer, to throw more shots, more combinations, instead of just looking for the one big shot. He's trying to take him out, and he's got to throw combinations and make Polo work, make them legs work because of his age.
Do you have Scott ahead at the moment?
I have the fight very level, I would say, at the moment.
You know Scott so well. Do you think the cut's affecting him at all?
I think it's put him out of his game plan, but he just seems very sluggish in there tonight. There's no bounce in his movement, there's no rhythm to his boxing. He's like robot tacks, just keep walking straight in.
Thanks, Frank.
Well, the judges, John Coyle from England, Malvina Latham from the USA, Manuel Oliver from Spain. They might have a tough call to make. Jim Watt at the moment has Harrison 2 ahead. I've got Polo 2 ahead. Bob Mee from the Daily Telegraph alongside me has it level. Just a little sample poll. It's that kind of fight. This is the 9th.
I don't think Harrison wants to raise the pace so early in the round against an experienced man. See, he's making mistakes and picked off again.
Polo, very accurate, long, rangy punches. He had Julio Pablo Chacon on the floor when he challenged for that title in London. In fact, he'd have got a draw in that if they hadn't called a knockdown wrong against him in that fight. Good right hand, 3 times over from Harrison. Can that lift him?
See, what you want to do in a fight like this is try to finish the rounds stronger and impress the judges. Don't start at a crazy pace, finish the round strongly.
Just thinking about it again, Harrison.
Working the body in this round, definitely a good plan against the 34-year-old, but still that left hand giving him all sorts of problems.
Good parry with the gloves that time from Harrison, and he gets through with the right hand as well. Polo at the moment has an unruffable look about it.
I think it's unusual that Harrison can't bully an opponent. He's usually able to do that.
Oh, how about that though? Right hand.
But again, Polo doesn't take his eyes off him. He's unaffected. Harrison, remember, is not a big one-punch knockout specialist. He grinds opponents down. He's not landing enough here.
That's exactly what the Scottish fighter Alex Arthur, who used to train with him, said. He's not a single knockout puncher, but he can wear you down.
Well, several times he's landed cleanly, bang on the button, and this guy has looked straight back at him. Excellent chin.
That's why he hasn't been stopped for 13 years, Jim.
Yeah, and the time he was stopped, he was overmatched. This is a real good, solid pro, and has a lot more to offer than I thought he would have. Thought maybe he would be on the slide a little bit.
He's putting up a terrific performance here. Full value for money for the punters who paid £125 for ringside seats here. The cheapest one's £30, by the way. There are 9 minutes left in this fight, and Scott Harrison might have some work to do. A lot of work, in fact.
Well, Harrison has never been the cutest fighter in the world, and I think that might be the big problem tonight. This fellow certainly is cute. He knows what he's doing. He's putting punches together. Harrison is still working hard, still trying to set the pace, but he's not landing as cleanly. I thought once again, the eye-catching work. Now look at that, that was bang on the button. You're looking for a fellow, you're looking for a bit of change back from a punch like that. You're looking for an effect in his legs. Look straight back and straight back down to business again. This guy can take a punch.
Yes, he can. The computer says that Harrison has landed a few more, just a few more, 133 to 120. It's a nip and tuck kind of battle, this, but the impression has been of Harrison just being ever so slightly outboxed in recent rounds. Remember, the Scot is in the black trunks here, but will the effect of the strength and marauding tactics of Harrison take their toll on the older man in these last 3 rounds?
See, again, this is Harrison with a big drive at the start of the round when I think he should save it for the last minute. Work the body in the first minute of the round, then try and raise the pace towards the end. Give the judges something to remember. See, he's standing off again. He's not comfortable at long range.
The right hand got through from Harrison. Now he wades away to the body. That might slow down Polo, reduces effectiveness. Maybe sap his strength a little bit. Harrison needs something. He's got quite quick slashing sort of punches, Polo. That's maybe why the cut happened.
Yeah, when there's no change in his facial expression, he knows he is well in this fight. His confidence is high.
How have the judges got it, though, Jim? How have the judges got it? We don't know, of course.
Well, I would imagine they have it close, but not an easy one to score. You just see what you like. Good punch from Harrison, but he needs a bit more of those.
This time Polo's out of range with his jab. Harrison, you sense, needs a big round. Just the drop off of the pace, there had to be at some point. It had been a white-hot kitchen that they were operating in. He's just lost a bit of fire, Harrison.
He's always found it difficult to get close without taking the jab or that straight left. Not a lot of power in Polo's punches now, just little cuffs, just enough to break the concentration of Harrison. Harrison's looking more businesslike, but not really been able to produce much.
The jab's not working for Polo so much in this round. He's dabbing with it, he's hitting thin air with it. Harrison has landed a couple of sharp punches, might have done enough in this session to nick it. Polo tries to come back at them, but he's a bit inaccurate, to be honest with you, hitting the arms with most of those. Not as snappy, the Colombian.
Well, another close round. I thought Polo maybe just a bit nicked it.
Get me the end swell out of the bag. Somebody get the end swell out of the bag.
In the bag.
In the bag.
It's okay. Everything's okay.
What is he doing? In the ice bag!
No, not that bag.
Unusual to see McWilliams' corner in disarray, but it shows the panic that's in there.
I think there's a bit of concern. I think they know this is a very, very tight fight, and they've got a pretty tired fighter in there now.
Yep, not throwing enough punches is what Scottish Dad has said, and that's pretty much how I summed up the previous round.
Just looking at my scorecard, I've still got Polo 2 ahead, and there's 2 to go. That's only my opinion. Very unofficial, of course. It's the judges that count. There are other interpretations.
Well, I've got it dead level at the moment, as you can see, so all in the last 2 rounds.
And just to think, some bookmakers had Scott Harrison 14 to 1 on going into this fight. He wouldn't be that at the moment. A right hand knocked him back and jolted him a bit. Polo knows he's hurt him. Polo knows he's hurt him, and he's going in with a cluster of shots here. Great start to the round from the Colombian, and the left eye is closing of Scott Harrison, the champion.
Well, none of Scott's punches in the first 10 rounds have had that effect on Polo. That's the last thing we need.
Is Harrison starting to go a bit here? This is a very bad start to this round.
And again, Polo looking exactly the same as he was in the early rounds. Composure, smooth, everything nice, tight, compact, really boxing well. Scott really struggling now.
There's blood, there's a big swelling, the eye is closing. He's been hit a lot in the round. It does not look good at the moment for Scott Harrison in there. But he has to hang on in there and see if he can get through to the final bell in this fight, and then see what the judges have come up with. But the impression to us here is that Polo looks fresher, stronger, and at the moment he's giving Harrison a shellacking.
This is the worst round possibly in Harrison's career. He looks to have nothing left. He's trying to force something out, but there's nothing in the tank.
The eye is terrible now. The eye is an absolute mess. It's closed up completely in the space of about 90 seconds. There's blood, and Polo is bouncing around confidently. And what a turnaround, because in about the fifth, Harrison looked on the very verge, maybe, of causing a stoppage.
But it's from that point on, I think it was the fifth round, I think Harrison maybe used up a little bit too much steam at that point, and he's never looked quite the same force. He's won rounds since then, but not been able to dominate or command.
All those big plans for a fight with Marco Antonio Braehead going out of the window. He does land with a right hand. That lifts the crowd, but the crowd are anxious. You can sense that in here too now.
He's been totally outsmarted in this round. He's swinging wildly, missing by a mile. Scott just seems to have nothing left.
The yellow light is flashing on his petrol tank at the moment. Big round for Polo. Big round. He raises his arms aloft, and just look at that. Oh my goodness.
You have to lift it.
That's horrible.
So that's your really stop and not try. Okay, you're behind points. Okay, that's not a thing you want to hear, right? They've got to stop him, Paul. Can't say that shit.
You can try and keep still, sir. All right?
Well, it's just been told they're behind in points, and I don't think that's a dodge. I think they really believe that themselves. I have them behind, I know you have, Ian. So this next round could mean his whole career.
I've got him 3 points behind with only 1 round left.
I have him 1 point behind. He needs to win this to hang on to his title on a draw. So,
I think that would be a miracle.
so many close rounds. He didn't look to me like a man who had anything in the tank to win the last round. We're about to find out.
This is perhaps the hardest night of Scott Harrison's whole career, and I include his defeat against Medina. Now there are 3 minutes left, and I'm sure they've said to him, look, you've got to go for it. You've really got to win this last round to have even a hope. And that may be the way of it. We don't know. We don't know what the judges are scoring.
And Polo, for his part, must meet them head on. He cannot be pushed around the ring. For me, this fight hinges on the last round, so Polo must stand his ground. That was seconds wasted that Harrison could have done without. Precious seconds wasted.
From Polo's point of view, he'll be thinking how he lost on a split decision 3 times previously. He'll know that he's away from home. He'll be wondering. There's plenty of drama mixed in here.
Well, Harrison is giving it what he's got, that's for sure.
He started the round well, but can he keep it up?
Well, he's not really landing. He's setting the pace, but not really getting home with the punches.
An air shot from a desperate Scott Harrison. He's in dire straits at the moment, or certainly his corner, you felt, didn't feel as if things were going very well, and they haven't done, but will he get away with it?
Well, he's put a lot into the last round, but not really producing the goods, not finding the target, still picked off of that jab. There goes the left hand again. The experience of Polo, so valuable at this stage in this kind of fight.
Lovely left hand from the Colombian, who's got a much greater control about his work. I think he has throughout the second half of the fight too. He's a man who will feel he's paid his dues in this business. Right hand gets in from Harrison. Looks like we're going to the scorecards here. Great effort from Harrison in this last round. Where is he dredging this up from? Because he looks spent in the last session.
Yeah, well, we always know Scott will give it everything he has, but I just think he's been missing too much. He's mounted a tremendous effort in the last round. Finding the target now.
I think he's winning this last round, Harrison, at the moment. It's a Braehead kind of effort from him here to try to pull this around.
I think he's put a lot of work into the last round, but not really finding the target.
But who knows what the judges have in store in the lottery of World Championship verdicts. A left hook goes in. Polo's a bit tired up, I'd say now. He's given it everything. Is this going to be his night at last, or will Harrison hold on? Oh, Harrison's final round. They both claim the victory. We will hear from the three judges. I have Polo a 2-point winner for what it's worth.
Well, I couldn't split him in the last round because Harrison did all the work, but Polo was stealing the points. I had the last round level. I have Polo 1 point up and a new champion. But what we have, there you go, 1 point up, 115, 114. Harrison gave the last round everything he had, but not enough to win it on my card, missing too much, and Polo kept picking them off with the educated punches, using his experience. But what a tremendous fight that was.
It was a great fight. It was a superb fight to watch. Great rally by Harrison in the last round, because he really was fighting on empty, I think, but found a superb effort. But has that been enough? I think if Polo is beaten yet again on a split decision, I mean, bearing in mind his career, but you know, he's away from home. You shouldn't have to feel that in, but you do.
If it happens again, Ian, I think we better put him on suicide watch tonight, because how can one man take 4 majority verdicts against you at world level?
Those are the three people who will decide. John Coyle, the very experienced English official from Wolverhampton. Malvina Latham from the USA has officiated at a lot of big fights. Manuel Oliver from Spain, the third official. Polo, I thought, was superb tonight, frankly.
Wonderful effort from Polo. Never lost his composure, used his experience, paced the fight perfectly. Scott, I don't know if it wasn't his better performance or he wasn't allowed to perform tonight. Maybe we have to give most of the credit to Polo. He knew exactly what he was doing. He kept the fight at long range for long, long spells, and that's what took the fight for me away from Harrison.
Sometimes just that strength and pressure fighting, that erosive style of Harrison isn't quite enough. He does look a candidate to get outboxed. We've seen that before, and Polo did that quite a lot of the way, I thought, tonight.
Yeah, well, he met a man tonight that he could not bully, and that's unusual for Scott Harrison, because he is a tremendously strong featherweight, but he couldn't bully this man, couldn't intimidate the man, couldn't knock him out of his stride, and what an effort Polo put up.
Having said that, Harrison nearly had stopped Polo by about the 5th. He was really getting to him then. You couldn't see much of a way out of it for the Colombian, but how he came back. And Jim, this scoring is taking a long time to...
Yeah, don't start saying this again, Ian. Don't give us worries we don't need.
Well, as long as they get it right, that's the point I'm making. I mean, it's important that they do it right. Here we go, they've got it. Let's go to the MC, Michael Pass. Still just checking one other thing. Is he ready for us? Yes, he is. No. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of boxing, here are the judges' scorecards. Judge John Coyle scores the contest 116 to 113 for Victor Polo. Judge Manuel Oliver Palomo scores the contest 115 to 113 for Scott Harrison. And Judge Melvina Latham scores the contest 114 to 114. The result is a draw.
Oh dear, a draw. Harrison keeps the title on a draw, and I think, personal opinion, he's a lucky man to do so. But it was close. Close-ish anyway, but I think Polo got that.
Yeah, but Ian, sometimes forget 12 individual rounds. Think about a 12-round event. Who do you think did the better work over the 12 rounds? I think it was Polo.
So do I.
But I think the championship should have changed hands tonight. You can't argue it was so close. I only had 1 point in it myself, but for me, Polo deserves to be champion. As I said earlier, we'll have to put him on suicide watch tonight. Another split decision.
Well, not sure that justice has been done, but it's a draw anyway.
Also, surely, in one of the hardest fights of Scott Harrison's career, a fight which may stay with him. He had to dig so deep, didn't he? Lots more action still to come. The dynamic young... Right here from Scott first.
Without you, I couldn't do this. It's just it's a pleasure to be here in front of some good fans, and thanks a lot. This is for you. Cheers. Appreciate it. Scotland!
Yes, so all that action, Barnes and Young, Gary Young from Scotland. In fact, Scott Harrison's stablemate. Those two still to come. Well, Scotland have got a world-class operator in this man. The crowd was good tonight and noisy, and maybe with thrillers like that, the crowd in Scotland, his own people, will rally behind him more. And also, he might need them, mightn't he? It was tremendous stuff. Let's hear from Scott now with Adam Smith.
Scott, plenty of debate already at ringside. Firstly, did you feel you'd done enough to retain your world title?
I thought I'd just done enough. It was a close fight there. A lot of his punches were just kind of missing as well, and he was butting with the head, as you see as well, and the elbows. I mean, it was a tough fight, you know. It was tricky in there. He was just trying to keep out the road, hard, and kind of hard on, but big respect to him. He put up a good fight.
You were cut in the first round. How badly did that affect you? Because the straight punches seem to be troubling you.
I don't know when I got the cut. I think it was, as you say, the first round. But no, it was just he was slippery. He kept moving. He was trying to tie us up, you know. And Mick done a good job in there. And, it was a good, tough fight.
But at the end, in the 12th round, did you feel you had to nail that last session? Was it that close in your head?
I think I had to win. My dad says you've got to win the last 2 rounds. And that's what I felt I'd done. I won the last 2 rounds. And I mean, it was a close fight. It was an even fight. You know, I just felt as if I couldn't have lifted it tonight. You know, maybe overtrained.
Peter, you seem to feel he was behind on points going to the last round. Do you think justice was done tonight?
Yeah, of course justice was done. Like that, I mean, he was an awkward opponent, Polo. You know, being a southpaw, he tried to keep it long. He used his experience in the ring, his years of experience to hold on to Scott. This wasn't a bad decision tonight. I mean, if anybody thinks this was a bad decision, I mean, I don't agree with them.
Frank Maloney, you certainly seemed a worried man over those last few rounds, thinking that Scott was losing on points. What do you think about the final decision?
Yeah, I thought the last round saved it for him. I did have Scott a round going down into the 12th round, but he gave a round of a champion, and you know, a draw I think was a fair result tonight. And I think that the fans got a great night's boxing here, and you know, we'll do it again.
So where do we go from here? Will we do it again, or will we look for one of these super fights? Are you're dealing with these top 10. We can have a look here at the featherweight list, Frank. Juan Manuel Marquez, the WBA and IBF champion. Manny Pacquiao, who's got Eric Morales. In Jinshi, who are you looking for?
Well, any one of them would do us. You know, maybe this result might make it a bit easier to make that fight. You know, it may work in our favour, but we've got to go and sit down with Peter, Scott and myself and the rest of the training team and just go back to the drawing board and correct the mistakes that were made in there tonight.
Barrera and Morales not on that list. They're up at super featherweight. Are you dealing with them?
Yes, we are. We're talking to most of them at the moment.
And what progress has been made there, Frank?
We're just talking to them. You know, negotiations and channels have been opened, and it takes a long time to make big fights. You know, but we have to go back to the drawing board after this fight and just study the tape of this fight and then decide where we go from there.
Will you rethink plans after tonight's performance from Scott Harrison? A setback or not?
No, I don't think it's a setback. It's a bad day at the office. He got the draw. He kept his title, so we can go forward. I would think Scott Harrison